When we talk about bringing AI into any organization, it's so easy to get caught up in the tech, right? The algorithms, the data, the platforms. But what if the biggest challenge, the real stumbling block, isn't the code at all? Today, we're diving into the human side of AI adoption and the hurdles we often put in our own way.
Now, just to set the stage, this is part 11 in our 15-part journey through a really deep research report from Virtualization Options LLC. As always, we're just scratching the surface here, but today our focus is squarely on those human hurdles to getting AI right.
So let me kick things off with a question for you. When a company tries to roll out a big new AI initiative, what do you think is the #1 thing that holds it back? Is it the budget? Is it getting the right data? The complexity of the algorithm?
Well, you might be surprised. According to the research, it's none of those things. The biggest barrier isn't the technology at all. It's us. It's people.
And this gets us to our first big idea. Think about it. Every major new technology in history has kicked up a storm of fears, misunderstandings, and these hidden blind spots. AI is absolutely no different. And it's these human factors, not some technical glitch, that usually end up derailing progress.
The report zeroes in on 4 huge misconceptions that just keep popping up and getting in the way. So what we're going to do now is tackle these myths head-on. Let's separate the facts from the fiction.
All right, let's start with the big one. The one we hear all the time. The fear that AI is basically a job-eating monster that's coming for everyone's paycheck.
But the reality, when you look at the data and just look at history, is so much more interesting. Work gets transformed. It doesn't just get eliminated. I love the ATM analogy in the report. When ATMs came out, everyone thought, well, that's the end of bank tellers. But it wasn't. It automated the boring task of counting cash, and it freed up tellers to focus on things that are way more valuable: customer relationships, financial advice. AI is doing the same thing. It takes on specific tasks, which actually creates more demand for the skills only we have: creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence.
Okay, on to myth number 2. This one is the complete opposite of fear. It's this kind of blind faith, this really dangerous belief that because an answer came from a computer, it has to be perfect, totally objective, no errors. But the reality is, AI systems are like a mirror. They simply reflect the data we train them on. And if that data has human biases baked into it, well, the AI is going to learn those biases, and sometimes it can even make them worse. So the key takeaway here is to treat AI like an incredibly powerful co-pilot, not a flawless oracle. It always needs our critical oversight.
So we've gone from blind faith all the way to the other extreme, total and complete mistrust. This is the idea that AI is just a scary, unreliable black box that we can't trust with anything important.
And look, this kind of blanket rejection is just as unhelpful as the blind faith we just talked about. The goal isn't to be a cheerleader or a doomsayer. The goal is to find that smart, balanced middle ground, to have a healthy, critical perspective.
And the final myth. Oh, this one trips up so many leaders. It's the assumption that rolling out AI is basically just an IT project. You know, like installing a new software update.
But that could not be more wrong. A successful AI rollout is a human project through and through. It's about fundamentally changing how people work together, redesigning entire workflows, and maybe most importantly, making a serious investment in training your team with the skills they'll need to work with these new tools.
Now, these misconceptions are very closely related to another problem: blind spots. You know, those hidden risks and unintended consequences that we just don't see coming because we're looking at the problem from only one angle.
So what exactly is an implementation blind spot? Well, think of it this way. The tech team builds a tool, but doesn't really understand how people do their jobs day to day. Or leadership sees the strategic goal, but doesn't grasp the AI's limitations. Each group is seeing just one piece of the puzzle, and that's where the problems love to hide.
So how do you find them before they find you? The report gives us a pretty clear playbook. First, you have to bring everyone to the table: the tech folks, the business leaders, and the people who will actually use the tool. Then, you run small pilot programs to test things out and see what breaks. And you have to build in ways for people to give constant feedback and then review how things are going after the launch. It's a cycle of continuous learning.
Okay, so we've torn down the myths, we've talked about the blind spots, so what do we do about it? How do we fix this? The report offers a fantastic toolkit with 3 core strategies for building trust and setting everyone up for success.
Strategy number 1 is all about transparency. Think about it. It's almost impossible to trust a tool that's a complete black box.
By making AI's decision-making process more understandable or explainable, you empower people to actually provide real oversight, to catch potential errors, and to build genuine confidence in the system.
The second strategy? Education. Plain and simple. The best way to fight fear isn't with vague promises. It's with actual knowledge. When you demystify the technology and help everyone get a realistic grip on what AI is good at and what it's not good at, that's when trust really starts to build.
And finally, strategy number 3 is all about participation. This is huge. Instead of just pushing new AI tools down from the top, you actually involve your employees in the process. When people have a real say in how this technology is going to shape their work, they stop being passive recipients of change, and they become active partners in making it successful.
And this quote from the report just nails it. When your team pushes back against a new technology, it's rarely because they're just afraid of computers. It's almost always because they have real, legitimate concerns about their job, their skills, and their value. Recognizing that is step 1.
So I'll leave you with this final, powerful question that gets right to the heart of everything we've covered today. As we pour billions and billions of dollars into AI technology, are we making an equal investment in the people, the skills, and the cultural changes needed to make it all work? Or to put it another way, is your organization investing as much in people as it is in pixels?